Okay, let's look at a couple more basic concepts here. I'm gonna do a couple more examples. These are gonna be the last ones I do in TextEdit, just to show that again the idea that being that HTML is nothing but text, and then I will transition to Dreamweaver. A couple of very quick things. Every HTML document has three basic parts. The first part is the HTML itself, and as you can see here, I have the HTML opening tag, and if I scroll all the way down, there it is. Let me get rid of the white space. There's my HTML closing tag. Everything that I write has to be between those two tags, the HTML opening and closing tag. So doing this, writing things here is not correct. It will cause problems. So make sure that you do that. Always create an HTML opening and closing tag. The other two parts of any HTML document are the head and the body. So let me go ahead and do that. The head is as such. Let me close it. I will explain what those are in just a second. So now everything that I create in this area in between the opening head and closing head tags will be the head of my document, and then the body of my page. And the body is everything I actually see in the browser when I preview it. So all of the content, all the stuff that goes in my page is in the body. So if I opened that tag there, the body is going to close just before my HTML tag closes. So if I preview this in my browser, again, this is the same example I had from the last presentation. Everything that I see here, everything that's visible is the body. Things I put in the head are not going to be visible. And things that I put in the head is designed for supplementary information that the browser needs to know about displaying our page, and we're going to get to that, so don't worry about what that is. Just remember the three basic parts of any HTML page: the HTML itself, and then the head, and then the body, and the body contains everything that we see in our page, all of the content. Okay, so let me go ahead and open this file with Dreamweaver. I'm just going to drag it over and open it with Dreamweaver. Now Dreamweaver is basically like a super advanced text edit. Again, it has many features that obviously TextEdit doesn't have. So, you know, it makes our lives much easier. Okay, when I first opened Dreamweaver, let me open this up a little bit. Okay, let me make the code a little bigger. I'll do that in just a second. But you can see here I have the same HTML text as I do in my TextEdit document. So I'm going to quit TextEdit because I'm not going to be using that anymore. If you want to make the text larger in your Dreamweaver file, you can go to Dreamweaver, Preferences, and then under Code, Fonts, right there, Code View. I'm going to increase the font to 16 maybe, so it'll be very visible to you. There we go. Okay, and we see a couple interesting things. There's code coloring. My content is black, my tags or my elements are blue. Little things like that are extremely useful. Okay, it really allows me to distinguish my elements from each other, so it's not one giant block of just black characters all over the place. The other nice thing about Dreamweaver, and we're going to be talking about many of the features here, is that it'll auto-close tags. So if I open a tag, let's say a P tag, and as soon as I hit the slash, see that? The tag closed. So it just makes it easier to keep things nice and orderly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all the contents of my page. Okay, and here we see again the basic super bare bones HTML page. HTML containing the head and the body. And we're going to get to those in depth. Okay, but for now, let's look at lists. Okay, lists in HTML are a little bit more complicated than basic text elements. They involve a couple more tags. And lists are very important not just for listing information, but for reasons that are going to become apparent when we start laying things out with CSS, especially creating navigation menus, drop-down menus, and many things that are based on lists. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is an ordered list. An ordered list basically is going to be a numbered list. It's just a series of things listed with numbers preceding them. Okay, if we are going to create an ordered list, we use the element OL. Again, every time you open something, you have to close it. And you see there, Dreamweaver closed it for me. Okay, so OL defines the ordered list, and then everything I put between those tags will be the list items. And each list item, let me hit the tab button so I can indent my code. Each list item will be enclosed in an LI element. Okay, so let's say this was a list of ingredients for apple pie. So I could say Granny Smith apples, close my list item. Second ingredient might be, I have no idea. Let's say 3 cups of sugar. A third might be, again, Li, 3 cups of flour. And finally, this is probably inaccurate, of course, but it doesn't matter. It's just for demonstration purposes. And then finally, apples, 3 eggs. We'll go with 3 eggs. So Li, 3 eggs. Okay, if I've saved this, file save, and I'll go to my desktop again and I'll drag that file over to my browser. Now you can see there that my list is numbered automatically. Okay, I didn't put those numbers in, it's created automatically by the browser. Okay, so that's what an ordered list consists of. Okay, it just basically lists items with numbers ascending automatically. And there's a lot more that we can do with lists. We can change the way the numbers are displayed, we can change the appearance, the indenting, many things, and we'll do that once we get to CSS. Okay. Now, the second type of list is the unordered list, and the unordered list is exactly the same as the ordered list, except that it has a UL opening and closing element instead of an OL. So let's say that we're going to create another list of, let's say, tips for cooking this pie. So UL, I open it, I close it, and the inside structure is exactly the same. The first list item will be purchase only fresh apples. My second tip will be use a, let's say use high, I'm misspelling there, quality bakeware. And the third tip will be use high quality shortening or lard. Okay, so if I save this, Command S, or you can just go to File, Save, and if I preview that again in my browser, we'll see now what happens with the unordered list. It just creates bullets. Okay, so those are two of the most basic lists we're going to be using all of the time. It's very common to see these types of lists, and we have to again practice. One of the important things is here to indent my code. That helps a lot, make things a little bit more orderly, and the basic structure is the same. Always remember, when you open a tag, close it. So it's not a good idea to start writing your list and then you start writing the list items, because then you might forget to close it, and you don't want to do that. You want to just open and close, and then inside you will write the list items. Okay, and then the third type of list we're going to go over is the definition list. Okay, so let's say that I have a definition of ingredients or any type of glossary items where I want to define things. And a definition list is with a DL. Okay, so again, if I open it, I close it. Let me scroll down a little bit, and I'll indent a little bit, hit tab there, and we will now write the definition term, so that would be dt. And again, you don't have to memorize these things. These are all easily found through books, references, online sources, etc. Okay, so the definition term, let's say I want to define a Granny Smith apple. Okay, and then under that I have the actual definition, and that is used with dd. And I can say a green type of apple best suited for apple pie. And I'll close my tag. And let's say I want to add another definition term. Again, same pattern. Again, dt. Let's go with shortening. And I'll add the definition itself. Let's go with a vegetable-based baking aid. Probably not the best definition for it, but okay, let's save that. We'll go to our browser, refresh. I can do refresh with Control or Command R, and you can see there how it's formatted. Again, if you're not happy with the default formatting, don't worry about that. Right now we're not interested in making any of this pretty. We will, though, when we get into CSS. Okay? So that covers the 3 basic types of lists, and in further lessons we're going to start getting into links and other HTML elements.